Not
Hey, Mario.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, hello. Hello, Alan. How are you?
Hello, Baruch Hashem. Very good. I hope you have an easy fast and meaningful. And my nephew's making a bar mitzvah in Israel. The party planner is Johnny's daughter. Could you believe that? He says, when my nephew said to him, Genauer, so he said, she said, oh, I know, it's my father's chavrusa, So Johnny has a daughter in Israel, right?
Yeah, in Ramat Beit Shemesh.
Yeah, so that's where they're making my nephew's making a bar mitzvah there. My sister's grandchild. In Ramat Beit Shemesh they live. So yeah, so that's what Johnny's daughter does. I guess is that where Johnny stays in Ramat Beit Shemesh, or he does in Yerushalayim?
No, Yerushalayim, but they were there for Shabbos because my daughter was with them at Sabrina's, and
okay.
Johnny and Helene were there.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, so they met my sister. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, good. See, you're growing your beard here, huh?
Where's yours? What happened?
It'll come in Sukkot Chalamot,
You look so good in a beard.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like. You like beards? I don't like beards.
I don't like shaving.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't like the beard either.
I'm not a very good shaver.
Yeah. Okay.
I look at myself and I miss here, I miss here.
Yeah, but it's so itchy. Did you get itchy down here? Yeah. All right. Okay. So.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Water.
Mario, Batavon. Kenny, how are you?
Baruch Hashem.
Good. Okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Ernie.
I'm Rav Papa. We're on Peiches 68. So yesterday we learned that if the woman admits that some of the ksuba was paid off, or we said if one aide had come to testify that some of the ksuba had been paid, then the woman has to take a shvua if she wants to collect the rest. But Rava analyzed that the shvua is not a deraisadik shvua; it's a rabbinic shvua. Because normally, when you take a shvua, you take a shvua and you don't pay. It's not like you take a shvua and collect. And here the woman's trying to collect, and then also it was connected to karka. So Rav Papa says, "Ipikeachu." If the husband is smart, if he's a Talmid Chacham, ma'isi leidei shvua deraisa, he'll be able to arrange it that she'll have to take a shvua deraisa with, she has to hold the Sefer Torah, and she has to use the Shem Hashem. And how will he do it? Yoav laksubasa ba'apechad sada. He'll actually pay the ksuba in front of one aide the second time. The samech sada kama sada basra. The original aide that saw partial payment, he also brought there to be present when he paid off the ksuba. Umukim lolanach kamai b'milva. The money that he gave the wife the first time, he arranged it like it was a loan. And now he's going to claim it back like the lender. And now that there's two eidim, here she's going to be able to take a shavua and not have to pay back. And there's no kfir by karkos. So he's arranged a shavua deraisa. Maskar of Shesha Beit Ravida.
I don't understand. I don't understand what he does. So if the first one is as a loan, so what does he give her for the second?
First one.
Let's say $200, right?
The first one was, let's say the ksuba was $1,000.
Yeah.
And let's say he had paid the woman up $200 of it.
Yeah.
And so now we learned that when she comes to collect the remainder, it's only going to be a shavud rabbanan. So Rav Papa says, let him bring another aid where he's going to pay the whole ksuba. And he brings the original aid and claims that was a loan to her. And she's going to deny it, but she has to take a shvua. And now the shvua is a deraisa not to pay, which fulfills the requirement of a shvua deraisa. Not you take a shvua to say that I don't owe it to you. And the mechanism here is that instead of it's a shvua drabonon, it's a shvua deraisa.
Yeah, but the money is so she doesn't mind giving back the $200 because she's getting the full amount on the second one. The second go around, she's getting the full $1,000. So she doesn't mind because she admits that she got the $200 in the first place. So what does he gain by it? What does she gain? She's what I mean, does it, what's there to gain financially for either of them? She admits that she got $200.
There's no financial benefit. He wants to be. He claims that the original money he gave her was a loan, and now he wants her to pay that back.
But she's getting the full amount the second
Amount,
time, right?
And he's paying her the full amount, but he's claiming that the $200 he gave her is a debt, but she's going to deny the debt. But now she has to deny it with a.
Why would she admitted it? Why would she deny it?
This is a trick, Elazar. This is a trick. Where he's trying to, instead of having her take a shavua d'Rabbanan, he wants to have her take a shavua d'Oraisa, which is more chomer, and she's not going to want to take that shavua because people avoided taking a shavua d'Oraisa.
But he could also give her 800, and that's it. He's covered the whole.
Giving her 800. He's paying off the whole. Rashi says he pays her off the whole ksuba. But he claims that the original 200 was a loan and he wants the 200 back. So she's going to deny that. So, but to deny that, she has to take a shvua d'oraisa because there's two eidim. There's no karka involved. And she's taking a shvua not to pay, which fulfills the criteria for shvua d'oraisa.
Okay.
Through this mechanism, he got her to take a shvua d'oraisa. That's what's going on here. So, Maskiv la Rav Shesha Beit Ravidi. What do you mean? How is he mitzvah the first aid? They're testifying about two different things. So you don't have two aids. Maybe that's what Elazar was asking. I don't know.
No, I was just saying that I said because she admitted in the very beginning that he gave her $200. What she wants is the balance of it. Right. Isn't that what the case is?
Yeah, but then to collect that, she would have to take a shvua, but the shvua is only a shvua d'Rabbanan. So Rav Papa is giving husbands a trick on how to create a situation where, yes, she'll take a shvua, but it has to be a shvua d'oraisa, and that she won't want to do. Since she won't want to do it, she won't get anything.
Because
isn't this the same then that we see in Baba Metzia, that Ein Adam Aziz Panim, like the whole sugi we have in the beginning of Baba Metzia?
Well, it has to do with people trying to avoid taking a shavua with the name of Hashem holding a Sefer Torah. So a shvua d'oraisa people avoided. So people would forget their claim and not take the shvua. Shvua d'Rabbanan is not as chomer.
That doesn't mean that she would not get the the ksuba, the money then?
Remember, she's not going to get paid unless she takes her shvuah. The Mishnah
The
told her.
remainder she doesn't get.
She won't get the remainder. So let's continue the Gemara.
Hmm.
So Rav Shesha says Rav Papa's trick doesn't work because the first aid he's claiming was an aid on a loan. And the second aid is on repayment of the ksuba. They're not testifying about the same thing. So his mechanism of trying to create a shvuah deraisa doesn't work. Ella, rather, says Rav Shesha Bred Ravidi, Yoiv lo ksubasa ba'ape sarakama v'sada basra. He pays her back the full ksuba, second time, in front of the first aid and in front of the second aid. So that there he did a full maisa of payment in front of two aid. But still, mukim olarach kamoy balvo. He still claims that when he paid the $200 to the woman, it was a debt. I loaned you money, and he wants that back. So, l'chora, she would still have to take a shvuah deraisa. So, Masker Ravashi, akoti yichol l'meimar shtei ksubas avoy. So she could claim, you wrote two ksubas. The first one, you paid me back at that time, and I took another ksuba, and there was no halva, so she can deny it. On Ravashi, hu demodelahu. He informs the last edim that he's only paying back the first ksuba or one ksuba, and therefore she can't toyin that there's another ksuba, and then he can make her take a shvuah deraisa on the first money that they were alone, and therefore this trick is successful at making her take a shvuah deraisa instead of a shvuah rabbanon. Then the Mishnah said Minachasim Mishubadim, that if the husband had sold property after he had got married, and there were no assets remaining to pay the wife, and the husband divorced her, and she needs to collect her ksuba, so she goes to the person that the land had been sold to, and she had a pre-existing lien, and she takes that land. However, the Mishnah said she has to take a shvuah. It says that the Yisomim also, if they're going to pay a debt, they have to take a shvuah. Now, to who do they have to take a shvuah? Perhaps the father had borrowed money, and now they have to go and pay. So ashta avien shakel below shvuah. The father will be able to collect money. When it says lo yuparu el b'shvuah, when you pay Yisomim, we know already that when you collect from Yisomim, you have to take a shvuah. But the din is Yisomim lo yuparu el b'shvuah, that when you pay Yisomim, you also have to, the Yisomim have to take a shvuah. So the Gemara doesn't understand. If the father was the malveh and loaned money to somebody else, and somebody else, the lov is coming to pay back the estate, hashta avien shakel below shvuah, the father who's the malveh relies on the shtar. There's a shtar that's documenting a debt. You don't have to take a shvuah if you have a shtar. And they obviously have the shtar. Inu b'shvuah. Now, normally, the Chachamim bend over backwards to protect a yosom. They're not allowed to, you're not allowed to collect from a yosom unless you take a shvuah to them. So what, you're going to make it more difficult to them when the father didn't have to take a shvuah, you can make them take a shvuah? That doesn't make any sense. So what do we mean when somebody comes to pay the yisomim, they have to take a shvuah? El achikamer. The chena yisomim, the orphans of a lender who approached the heirs of the borrower Lo yuparu ela b'shvua. They, like everybody, they're collecting from an estate of Yisomim. They also have to take a shvua. Amar Azrik, Amar Yehuda lo shanu. That if you're going to get paid from Yisomim, they have to take a shvua. Ela she'amar Yisomim of a borrower who have to pay back. Because Amar lanu Abba, what do they say? What shvua do they say? They say, our father told us, Lavisi uparasi. Yes, I borrowed money, but I paid it back. Aval im amru, amr lanu abba lo lavisi. I never borrowed. So af b'shvua lo yuparo mehem. So you don't collect from them even with a shvua, because it's as if the loan never occurred. Obviously, there's no star to prove it. Maski flarava. Adarabba. That doesn't follow the normal dinim that accompany a claim. For example, kola oimer lo lavisi. Person goes to a person and says, "You owe me money. I lent you money. Pay me back." And the guy says, "I never borrowed it." It's ka oimer lo parasi dami. Obviously, there's a star. So by saying Lola Visi, it's the admission that he never paid anything. And therefore, he has to pay the whole thing. So the Gemara says, Iyitmar hachi yitmar. Amar Zrikar Mevidu Lo Shanu, Ela Sha'amru Yisomim. The Yisomim of the Lovas say, Amar lanu Abba Lavisi. Amar lanu Abba Lavisi uparasi. Their father told us, yes, I borrowed money, but I paid it back. Aval, that's when they take a shvua. Aval amru, amr lanu abba lo lavisi nefroin afilu shelo b'shvua. If a star is presented against them, they have to pay it back even without a shvua. Shekola omer lo lavisi komer lo parasi. If the person makes a claim, I never borrowed it, it's as if he said I never paid it back. Then the Mishnah said, "V'nifra shaloi b'fonav." If the husband's in China and he sends a divorce to the wife, and the wife wants to collect the ksuba, he's not present, lo tipara ela b'shvua. She also take a shvua. On Rav Acha bar Sarabira Ma'aseh Bol if they Rav Yitzchak ben Tochia, v'amar lo yishana l'ksubas isha. The fact that she can take her ksuba with a shvua without his presence is mishum china. We want women to want to get married. So this was a benefit that they made for a woman, that she can collect her ksuba even though he's not in town. Aval balchov lo yipara. But if there's a creditor in town and the borrower went to China, the balchov cannot collect with a shvua because maybe the lover paid it off. We need him to be present. However, Rav Nachman afidu balchov, that Rav Nachman said that even a balchov, a creditor, if the guy who borrowed from him is in China, he can also collect from the borrower's assets with a shvua. Why? People are going to borrow money, fly to China, not pay anybody back. Nobody's going to lend money. So as a takana, to keep commerce going, they allowed a balchov to collect with a shvua. So the Shulchan Aruch says, the lender comes to Bezdin, has a shtar, and the shtar is valid, but the lova is not in town. Now, if the Bezdin can send the shaliach to the borrower to have him come to the din, we send the shaliach. As long as the shaliach can reach that place and come back within 30 days. the malva has to pay the expenses of the shaliach. And then he can collect it back from the borrower when he comes into town. Now, if they can't reach him within 30 days, then he can take a shvuah and be paid from the assets of the borrower with the shtar, even when the lova is not present. Then the Mishnah said, Rab Shimon Omer, Kozman shetoivas ksubasa. The Rab Shimon made a statement that we didn't quite understand, that if she's claiming her ksuba, she takes a shvuah. If not, there's no shvuah. Now, on what case in the Mishnah was Rab Shimon going in? Rab Shimon Ayom. On what case? On Rav Yirmiyah Aha. The case of V'nifra shelo b'fanav lo tipar b'shvuah. The case where he was in China. And if she requests the ksuba, she has to take a shvuah. Lo yishna lemezoyni, v'lo yishna leksuba. That means the Tanakama held that she has to take a shvuah even to collect mezonos from the asset. She needs food and clothing. So the Tanakama says she has to take a shvuah for mezonos as well as for the ikr ksuba. V'asa Rab Shimon Lamemer kozman shetavas ksubasa yorshim mashbiin osa. It's only if she's trying to collect the full ksuba that the heirs, let's say the guy died when he was in China, that they make her take a shvuah. But if ain't tavas ksuba, if she's just getting mezonos, ain't yorshim mashbinos, then they have to pay mezonos even without a shvuah. Kamiflagi beplukta the chanan of nekohanim gedolim. It's not. Mi shalach undina sayah. Somebody went to China. He left over his wife, and the wife needs food. V'ishta tovas mezonos. Chanan oimer, so she gets paid. She eats and eats and eats, and tishba basof. At the end of the day, after all the mezonos, then she gets her ksuba. She will take a shvu as well, that the Baal didn't leave her any other money for mezonos. And that this was all just the mezonos that she was taking meanwhile. But the loti shava betchila. That means when she starts getting paid mezonos, she doesn't have to take a shvu at that time. But nechleku alav nekohanim gedolim v'armu tishava betchila v'sof. That means the moment she comes the first day to collect money to go to the grocery store, she also has to take a shvuah that the Baal didn't leave her money for this to the Yorshim. So Rab Shimon Kechanan who say that Rab Shimon said you didn't have to take a shvuah from mezonos, and Rabbanan K'bnei Kohanim Gedolim that you needed a shvuah that batchilu vasof as well. So on this attempt to explain the sugya, maski for Rav Sheshes, hi Yorshin mashbiin osa. This is not a case of Yorshin. You told me you're talking about a case where the guy went to China. He's not dead. There's no Yorshin. She's going to Bezdin for Bezdin to collect on her behalf. Bezdin mashbiin osa boy. So when we asked Ayah, and we answered, it's on the case of Nifra Shelo B'fanav Lo Tipar. It's not so. Elam Rav Sheshes Ahad. It's going on this part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Halcha mikever b'ayil lebeis aviyah. That means there's a period of time when they buried her husband and she went to her father's house where she couldn't have gotten any assets. She was not appointed the executor. So the Mishnah said, Eina Yorshin Mashbiyan Osa. Because there's no chance that she would have she could have had money in that period. In Nasas Apotropia. But if she had been appointed the executor, then Yorshin Mashbiyan Osa Asid Lavo, Vein Mashbiyan Osa Masha Ava. Then, of course, anything she does in the future, she has to take a shvua that she didn't take money, but not on the past. The also Rab Shimon Lameimar. If she comes to the Yorshim and demand her ksuba, Yorshim must be an osa. They'll take a shvua. Ain't a tovas ksubasa. If she's not coming to collect the ksuba, Yorshim must be an osa. The kamiflagi bepluk to dabashol rabbanon. And this is the machlokas between Abishol and Rabbanon. This is not. Apetropos shimineo avi yisomi. A person was appointed executor of an estate. Yeshava, he also has to take an oath. Minu Beis Din, lo Yeshava. But if Beis Din appointed him, he doesn't have to take a shvua. Abisholim are the opposite. Chiluf adra. Minu Beis Din Yeshava. Minu Avi Yisomim lo Yeshava. It's a covet for a person to be appointed an executor by Beis Din. So he's willing to take a shvua. When the father appointed him, the other mandar holds it's more covetic when the father relied on him. Rav Shimon ka'abashol, because the woman was appointed apotropos by the father, so she doesn't have to take a shvua for future stuff. Only if she demands her ksuba, rabbanon k'rabbanon. Because they're the ones who held that if the father appointed the executor, he has to take a shvua. So on this also, Maski Flo Abaya. Hi, when it says Kozman Shetoivas Ksubasa Yorshim Ashbinosa, that's if Rab Shimon is coming to be Machri on the Chachamim that pottered him. But according to the way Rav Sheshes learned that Rav Shimon is coming to be Makel, it should say Im Toivas Meboile. If she comes. So El Amar Abaya, aha. What is Reb Shimon going on? On the following case. Kosef lo neder u'shvua ein li alayach. He writes in the Ksuba, I'm never going to make you take a shvua. We said, Eino yachal but you can't make her take a shvua. Neder u'shvua ein li. V'lo lo yorshi, v'lo lo bai b'rshus yalech, v'lo yorshech, v'lo lo bai b'rshusecha. You say, you're not going to have to take a shvua, and not your yorshim, and not anyone who stands in your stead, and not if they're coming to claim against my yorshim. The Mishnah said, "Ein yachol lashbia lo hu lo yorshav lo aban b'shuso, lo hi lo yorshav lo aban b'shusa." We said nobody takes a shvu in that case. However, also Rabbi Shimon Lameimar, Kozman still, even though that was stated in the Ksuba, Kozman shetovas Ksuba so yorshim mashbinosa. When she comes to the estate of the yorshim, wants to collect her Ksuba, Rabbi Shimon says she will still have to take a shvua, even if that statement was made in the ksuba. The previous machlokes we had yesterday, Rabbi Shimon ka'abashol, that even though he verbally pottered her from a shvua, Chachamim demanded that when she comes to collect from the Yisomim, she has to take a shvua, and the Rabbanim pottered everything. However, on this as well, Maski Flor of Papa. That's if she comes to try to collect her on the Iker Ksuba. Let's say she's not coming to collect on the Iker Ksuba. They both admit, both Rabbi Eliezer and those that argue Rabbi Eliezer, that the Yisomim can always make her take a shvua that she hasn't gotten money from the assets. Chachamim hold it's only if she was appointed an executor. Rabbi Eliezer says in any situation. Rabbi Shimon argues it's only when she's coming to collect the ksuba do the Yarshim have the right. If she's not coming to collect the ksuba, they don't have a right to be mashpia. Okay. Now, tomorrow, I can learn at 8 o'clock in the morning if you want. We could learn at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That way,
Mincha's at 3. Mincha, what time is Mincha?
4 o'clock. 4
Oh.
o'clock.
okay,
But it's
let's,
a tough day tomorrow, Ernie, to
How about 8 o'clock?
how about
is
8 in the
okay.
morning, right after?
8 is fine. Yeah.
but no, I guess some people I gotta go to work. Listen, Ernie, why don't we got another half an hour? We can do the next stuff. What I don't understand. Can't we do the next stuff or you didn't prepare?
No, I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare. No, we just do a plot tonight.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you do
Oh,
it, so send the
So
report.
you're gonna, 8 o'clock is not early enough? You want to
No,
do it at 7:30?
No, it's not because it's not early enough. It's 8
I could do it
o'clock.
at 7:30.
I
No,
can try.
no, Young Israel Shul,
Okay.
Yeah.
7 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean Kenny can't be there.
Okay.
Kenny can't.
So what
can't-
about in the afternoon before the Suda? Like at
it's before
3:30?
Mincha. It's
So-
before Mincha. Mincha's at 4 o'clock at Yavne.
Okay, so what's wrong with 3 o'clock? We'll be done by 3:30.
There's preparations. Not everybody comes home right away. So you know, you know,
Well, we're not learning let me see, Yom Kippur.
no, you can't do it. It's not like that.
Every has different schedules.
Okay, if you want to do 8 o'clock, I mean, who can do 8 o'clock? Mario, can you
I
do 8
can
o'clock?
be, I can do
What's
8
better
o'clock.
for everyone, 8 or 3?
Mario,
8 o'clock. I'm
I
8
They
can.
both work for me. Either one works for me.
I'm
8
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
I can't.
Well, does 3 o'clock work better for most people?
No.
How about 2:30? Because people are coming home late?
No,
I'm
Mincha
still-
is
I'm
2 at
still
Young
working.
Israel.
2:30 is okay for me. Either way, 2:30 is okay. for
Mincha's
me,
at 2 at Young Israel. I don't know what time we'll finish.
Well, Mincha takes 15, 20 minutes, that's all.
So make it 2:30.
2:30 is
Does that
okay.
work for you?
It's good for me. Yeah. Either
Okay,
that or 8.
Kenny, does that work for you, Kenny?
Kenny, you're muted, Kenny.
Kenny, does 2:30 work for you?
I'll try my best. Yes.
Okay, let's try 2:30.
2:30.
Up a right, a half hour.
Okay.
Okay,
I think it'll take less.
okay.
All right. Good night.
Okay,
Yeah.
good night.
And then, you know, every Yom Kippur, we'll be a block behind. Okay.
Thank you.
Thursday, the next one.
Shkoyach. Shkoyach.
Bye.
Have an easy fast.